Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, yesterday I did a couple of stories regarding the police. One was the fact that they're no longer going to be investigating minor crimes, and the other is the use of these new, what they call PRWs, which is basically the police telling you off for doing minor crimes. Only these minor crimes include all sorts of actual serious crimes, sort of Class A substances and attacks of a particular bad nature. Let's just say it's too early in the video to use such terms. They are effectively, with these, decriminalising substance abuse. And the downside of this, of course, is that it means that there's basically no control. Now, I did, during the second one of them, give a sort of a heads up on this particular story. So we're going to go into this story now, which is a warning about decriminalisation of substances and the awful things that happen. And so there is no excuse. The SNP know what will happen, and yet they still want to push this particular agenda, knowing how bad things are going to get. And you have to ask why. Here goes. So, warning of human misery for Humza Yousaf and the SNP as woke US city backtracks on the decriminalisation of substances after a spike in deaths. The city of Portland in Oregon took the step in 2020, but has since seen an increase in ODs, as an official warns the Scottish government of the dangers. So Scotland is looking to do this decriminalisation. Oregon tried it, or Portland in Oregon tried it, and it was so detrimental to public health, public safety, and the general level of malaise and criminality in the city. It is an appalling move, and yet the SNP are determined to do it because, again, and I keep stressing this, it's the scorched earth policy. They want destruction everywhere, and if they can lay waste to everything, a post-apocalyptic landscape for whoever follows is what they absolutely want to leave. So Humza Yousaf has been dealt a desperate warning after a US city that decriminalised substances was forced to backtrack after a spike in deaths. The SNP leader wants to take the drastic step, claiming it will help improve his government's dismal record on these substances. But officials in Portland have claimed the step brought a brutal amount of human misery to the Oregon city. Scotland has the worst substance death problem in Europe. Despite a drop from 2021, still 1,051 Scots lost their lives last year, a rate that is almost 3 times higher than the UK average. Mr Yousaf was among a group of MPs and MSPs who signed a letter to the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, asking her to rethink her opposition to substance consumption rooms. Basically, a place where they can go and do this legitimately and without arrest and without any kind of control. The Nationalist Scottish Government has previously called on the decriminalisation of these substances, claiming it would help alleviate the problem. However, Portland police have reportedly logged detailed deaths since the state of Oregon took a similar action in 2020. Now, you have to ask, what is the obsession with decriminalising these substances? Now, I know there is the argument that if you legitimised it, you would remove a lot of the criminal element and you would be able to then control the supply, which means you can control the quality of what's going into these substances. However, that is one argument, and you reduce crime and you control product. And you can tax them, so there's a massive upspike in taxation. However, they are still destructive. You are still enabling people to destroy their lives. What we need to do is absolutely clamp down with a 100%. There is no tolerance. And be it anything must carry severe jail terms. And that's got to be the way. And like an importation has got to mean automatic. Life means life. You never get out. And we build dedicated hardcore jails. These people aren't going to have an easy life. There'll be no access to this or that or the other. And we've got to clamp down. We've got to go Far East. Look at the way the Far East deal with it. And that's how we've got to be here. Because it's the only way it's going to be solved. Anyway, Oregon is seen as one of America's most progressive states. And by progressive you mean backward in the way it's policing everything. It's a hellhole. But Portland Commissioner of Public Safety Renee Gonzalez said the city has seen the homeless population rise by 29%. It's working like that in Scotland as well, of course. While there's been an increase in crime, again, very much like Scotland. Speaking to the Mail on Sunday, he said, the amount of human misery is just brutal. It is truly horrific. Portland and Scotland share many values, but the addictive qualities of these substances are so brutal that it simply overwhelms your systems. Perhaps the problems solve themselves. Buy up a whole load and just hand out tons of it to these people and let them OD and then just sweep them up. Because that's effectively what they want to do to themselves. They see themselves as human waste. It's an argument. It's not what I agree with, but it's an argument. But that is the result of freedom of these substances. You know, nearly 30% increase in homeless, crime rampant, and a massive uplift in ODs. There's still broad consensus that we don't want to criminalise addiction and that it has to be reviewed as a disease or a medical issue. But the part that has been very painful for Oregonians and Portlanders is that we took away the prohibitions, but we didn't stand up quickly enough to get people into treatment. Why should we? They're willing to pay for their product. They should be paying for their treatment. So we kind of have the worst of both worlds. We don't have anything disrupting self-destructive behaviours, and we don't have a strong enough support system. We hear from citizens every day that they can respect someone's body autonomy for their right to use. Strange that. They agree, body autonomy, do what you like, except if it's a pregnant woman, in which case there's no such thing as body autonomy. It's a very strange thing in America, isn't it? Anyway, but they don't want to see it in front of them, and they don't want to breathe it, and they don't want to hear that. They don't want their kids exposed to it. Well, you can't have it both ways. If you're voting for a liberal regime that wants to tolerate this and legalise it, you can't then moan when people are using it. If you don't want it seen, you're going to have to go very much the other way and start voting for Republicans and get them to clamp down on it. It's a bugger, isn't it? You want to appear liberal and left, and you hate the Republicans, and yet the people who can sort the problem out are the Republicans. What to do? Oh dear, America, you really are full of it, aren't you? But the warnings are there. The warnings are there, and Mr. Stupid won't heed the warnings. He'll still push for the legalisation of these substances. At what cost? With the crime, the homelessness, and the utter destruction of societies that comes with it. But hey, it's what the SNP are actually trying to do. That is their goal. I shall stop there and come up. And doesn't he look weird? So there you are. He's been told in advance if he does it, it will fail. It's another fail in a long list of fails. But this one will fail before it starts. And he knows it. And he's still going to push for it. Because that is his policy of utter destruction. What a weird party they truly are. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and for heaven's sake, don't use anything that you shouldn't be using. Bye.